What's going on, y'all? It's me, it's your boy, it's Doc Mono, and today I got another guide for you, this time for Holy Paladin. Now, I want to preface by saying I don't really heal a lot. I just started about a month and a half ago, so I'm probably doing a bunch of shit wrong, but even so, I was still able to accomplish the challenge. This challenge I've done, this is the fourth challenge I've done, and this one's probably right up there with High Lord Cruel pre-nerf for Guardian Druids. Like this was really tough for me. I died quite a few times. What? What? Why is he on me? All right. Granny! Assholes.
A few moments later.
For fuck's sakes, no! This Amber Alert better have been fucking important! I swear to God! Yeah. But anyways, I learned a lot along the way, so hopefully some of the tips I show will help you out, and there's a bunch of them. So, let's just dive right into it. We'll start with talents. For this, I took Light's Hammer, just because it does a little bit of healing, which is really important, and it also does damage, which you definitely need damage on this challenge. Yeah, you need a lot of damage. The next row, I picked Saved by the Light, just because it gives me a little bit more healing, and it just seemed overall better than these two options. In this one, I took Blinding Light. I can see an argument for Repentance, but in the first phase, there's a part when they're both doing their knife throwing ability. I don't know what it's called, but you want to be able to interrupt both of them at the same time in one global, so Blinding Light was very important for me there. In this one, you want to take, in this row, you want to take Unbreakable Spirit, just because it reduces the cooldowns of your Divine Shield, Divine Protection, Lay in Hands by 30%, which is very, very important in this challenge, because you're definitely going to want those, especially towards the end. Now, in this row, I can see an argument for a Holy Avenger in the last phase. I just preferred Light Purpose. I tried both, and I found it was easier for me to heal this with Divine Purpose. In this row, ideally, you want to take Avenging Crusader for like the first few phases, but then for the end phase, you probably want to use a Tome and go Awakening, which you can do before the encounter starts. I noticed it was a lot easier when I took Awakening just because I was getting more wings procs. The one time I actually did manage to kill the boss and win the fight, I forgot to take Awakening, which I probably would have stayed alive if I did remember to take it. But regardless, this one's best for the last phase. This one's best for the first few phases just because it helps you kill the eyes quicker. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get into the video. This last row, you want Beacon of Faith just because the double beacon is extremely important. Let's go into gear. So gear in this fight actually helped me out a lot, and most of it's pretty easily attainable. Harder Azeroth, if you did BFA, you should have that. Tusks of Manaroth is not easily attainable at all, but I'm just lucky in that I was able to farm it on this character years ago, so I got the 3 sockets from that. I got a Shoulder Enchant for 5 Intellect, 2 Critical Strike. I forget what it's called, but if you go in the auction house and you look under shoulder item enhancements, you'll find it in there. If you're on a big server. On my server, there's none there. Everyone's been buying all of them. My cloak, my chest, and my wrist are all just standard Shadowlands gear. Same with my sword and my shield. Sword has Celestial Guidance on it. My hands, just normal Shadowlands hands. For my belt, I got the Legion Legendary Belt, which gives you 3 sockets. Pretty valuable to have that. I just got my normal Lego pants on because I haven't bought the Lego that I actually want on this character. Feet, Just normal Shadowlands feat. Ring. I picked a Legion Lego ring because it has 3 secondary stats and it also has a socket. This is a normal crafted ring. Again, it's got a socket. Still haven't replaced that yet. So my trinkets here are very important. So these are really overpowered. This Ravaged Seed Pod drops from the first boss in Emerald Nightmare, and it's actually a pretty high drop rate. Like every character I've gone in to farm it on has gotten it on the first try. So I highly recommend getting this. It did my 4th overall damage, and I didn't even use it that much. Like, this is extremely valuable. And then the next one, this is also really important. It's called the Ghost Iron Dragonling. It's an engineering trinket. You can buy it on the auction house. There's a bunch on my server, and I'm on a dead server, so your server should have a bunch of these. And it comes with 3 sockets. But what really helps it out, your attacks have a chance to summon a Ghost Dragonling to fight with you for 20 seconds. So this actually does a lot of damage. It did 7.7% of my overall damage, and it's passive. So it just randomly comes out when you're fighting the eyes. This is very valuable to have. I highly recommend, if you're struggling with this challenge, that you get these trinkets. It helped me a bunch. Next, we'll go over consumables. So for this challenge, I use Drums of Fury with Unbridled... Drums of Deathly Ferocity and Unbridled Fury, but I only use those for the last phase. You can lust in the beginning phase, but I'll be honest, this whole encounter, with the exception of the end of it, was easy once you figure out how to do it, and I'll go into that. I didn't need to lust, and I wasn't going to waste some money on drums. But Unbridled Fury does a lot of damage as well. It is my 2nd top damage, and I only use it in the ending phase. In the last boss fight. So yeah, you definitely want to get that. I made a macro, so I just used both of them together. It's right here. You just use Drums of Deathly Ferocity and use potions of Unbridled Fury. Very good to have that. I use Shadow Core Oil for the damage. I use a Veiled Augment Rune for the extra intel, and I was using Stake a la Mode to get me some extra versatility. And for flasks, honestly, Greater Flask of Endless Fathoms is probably the best one you can use for this challenge. There were none left on the auction house except for one that was like 9,999 gold, and I'm not about to pay it because some dipshit felt like price gouging it, so I just went with the old Spectral Flasks of Power. And that was sufficient for me. I think you'll be fine with that. And then Tome of the Still Mine, I highly recommend going in with some tomes. That way you can swap that Avenging Crusader talent before the last boss. Like I said, you want Awakening. Avenging Crusader is good for damage, but Awakening is going to give you a little bit more survivability in the end phase. That's about it for consumables. Like I said, I kind of had a rough time with this. I don't heal much, so this was hard. But if I can do it, like, believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So now we'll go to the actual video of the kill, and I'll show you exactly how I managed to kill it. And we'll go look at it right now. Alright, so this is a video of the actual kill. So first thing you want to do is you want to put beacons on Commander Gerard and Callie Carrington. Granny Marl doesn't really take a lot of damage, so she's pretty low priority. Just heal her when she does get damaged, but it's really not that big of a deal. Granny! So this first ad's pretty straightforward. You want to pop your trinket immediately, that way you get it on cooldown for the big 3-pack with the mage and the 2 soldiers. Aside from that, you just kill the Arbalest standard. Be sure you dispel the Mana Sting right away. Here you want to throw down Light's Hammer for these guys, and you immediately Hodge the mage. That prevents him from getting stacks. The more stacks of that buff he gets, the more damage he does. So you burn down the mage immediately, right after you Hodge him. Be prepared to dispel the Mana Sting, and then you just go ham on this Arbalest. Alright, so here you got the mage and the soldier. So you want to burn down the mage ASAP, but you want to watch the soldier, because as soon as he starts casting Knife Dance, you want to turn evil on him. I'm going to pause the video here. It's very important when you turn evil, the soldier, you don't want to do it before he starts channeling it, all right? You want him to start channeling the spell and then you hit him with it. Because if you get it before he starts channeling, right after he breaks out of that CC, he just starts channeling it right away again. So you want to make sure you actually like turn evil after he starts channeling. Otherwise, he's just going to do it again. But yeah, while he's running away, you burn down the mage, top off your party, and he's immediately going to fixate you, try to create some distance. Here, I always try to kite him over to the next pack. That way, I don't really have to worry about traveling to start attacking these guys. He's going to start casting again. I got Turn Evil going. Interrupts the cast. This is why it's easy to do this on a Paladin. This part's easy once you figure out the little ways to get around it. All right. I'm going to pause the video here. So for this pack, you have to handle this like this is the most efficient way to handle it. All right, you dump your trinket, you pop Avenging Crusader, you go ham on the mage. Now the reason you took the Blinding Light talent is so that when these soldiers start doing a double knife dance cast, you can interrupt both of them at the same time and then just finish off the mage. You shouldn't need to lay in hands, bubble, bop, or anything. You just Blinding Light, that interrupts them, and then you murder this mage. It also helps if you Hodge the mage there. I didn't do it just because I guess I wasn't thinking about it, but it wasn't really necessary. Alright, let me pause this again. So you're going to notice your allies here are DPSing one down more than the other. I highly advise you find out, you pay attention to which target has the least amount of health, and then you just focus that down. That way you don't have to worry about a double knife dance again. You want at least one of them dead before they start doing the knife dance again. With that, there's nothing real special you have to worry about here. You just kind of, if they start casting knife dance again, you just want to make sure you turn evil it or Hodge it. I could have Hodged that. I turned evil. It doesn't really matter. I have Hodge for the next pack. The next pack's not as bad. This pack we're killing right now is probably the shittiest pack in this whole group. This pack's not bad. So as soon as this pack comes out, Light's Hammer should be off cooldown. Preferably you would Hodge the mage, and as this soldier is casting knife dance, you turn evil as soon as it's up. Which I'm turning evil right now. If you don't turn evil that cast, there's a lot of damage going out, and it's just there's no point in taking all that damage if you could just turn evil it. So unfortunately here I did get hit by Mana Sting. That's okay, because I can kind of kite away the soldier. As long as I'm making sure to interrupt those knife dances, we're fine. The Arbalist is very low threat. And the soldier's not a big deal either, as long as you run away when he fixates and you turn evil when he knife dances. As you can see, I didn't have to use lay in the hands, I didn't have to use bubble, I didn't have to use bop, I didn't have to use sack, I didn't even have to use what's it called? Aura Mastery. Usually you want to use Aura Mastery in this phase, but I guess this is the one time I didn't, and I made it through fine, so it was no big deal. So here, I'm gonna pause the video. Alright, so these guys still have a beacon on it. Beacon yourself, that way you're getting some heals from, you know, when you're healing, I guess. There's no point in not beaconing yourself for this phase. So one, beacon yourself, eat, get your mana back. If you had to blow any major cooldowns in that last phase, wait for them to come up and use them here. It's very important that you have bubble for this and Avenging Crusader. Now this is where you're really going to see value out of that Avenging Crusader talent, because it helps you just annihilate the eyes real quick, which is good because this is a timed event. You don't have a lot of time to get to the top of the stairs and kill the mini boss up there. So Avenging Crusader is very good for that. Alright, so I'm going to pause right here. So these three eyes are close enough together that when you drop Light's Hammer, it'll like damage all of them. You do that with Trinket and Avenging Crusader, and you should be able to bubble and kill all three of these before your bubble expires. If you do it right. So here I'm throwing down my hammer, I'm popping my Trinket, Avenging Crusader. I kill one eye, I bubble, then I just start like going ham on the other eyes. As you can see, my bubble's still up, I'm good. I almost was able to kill 4 eyes right away with bubble up. Unfortunately, bubble expired right at the end of that 4th eye, but it's no biggie. I was at full health anyways. Here, a word of caution, I would always recommend being at full health before you kill these. They do a lot of damage. If you're topped off, you'll survive. If you're at half health, you're probably going to die. There's many times I died just from being impatient here. All right. Another thing that's good about Lights Hammering right away in that last pack is it's going to come up almost right away for this Dominator and 3 bats. So it's strategic, right? We use it at the beginning of that last pack. We should have it here as along with the trinket, which is good because we're not going to need that until the last room anyways. So here, watch out for these orbs. If you throw down Consecration and they happen to start wandering into you, the Consecration will kill it right away. As you can see, that one orb there just died immediately. So keep your Consecration down. It's like a little shield. Here I throw down Light's Hammer. I throw down my Trinket. The only heal you should be throwing on yourself is like Word of Glory. Holy Shock, use it strictly for offense here. That Dominator and those bats don't do a lot of damage. So there's really no need to heal yourself other than like a Word of Glory. So here you heal these guys up. You want to dispel this guy, otherwise he'll fear you, and then he could fear you into one of those orbs, and that will kill you. So yeah, definitely dispel him right away. This is pretty straightforward. Just DPS down the Arbalest. You can Hodge him and you can Blinding Light him. So if you're trying to stay within melee range just to get a little bit more damage on him to kind of rush things along, that's one way you can go with it. If you don't want to Hodge or Blinding Light for whatever reason, if you hide behind one of these little ads you just healed up, when he casts Mana Sting, he'll hit them instead of you, and you won't suffer the debuff, just so you know. So you have those 2 options. I would recommend you Hodge. You Hodge the first one, you Blinding Light the second one, and if he's still alive for the 3rd Mana Sting, you hide behind one of these ads. Or you can just dispel yourself right away, but I prefer to just not risk it. So here, I'm just kind of waiting a little bit because I want to have Bubble in that last room, and I got plenty of time. Like, I got 2 minutes to kill this little mini boss who's really easy to kill. Alright, so I found the easiest way to do this part is you throw your Light's Hammer up there to get rid of the first batch of orbs. Then you use your charge. You charge up there, and then you use Consecration. That gets rid of the ones that are near you. Unfortunately, I didn't use Consecration soon enough, and I got too close to the orbs. That just wasn't good at all. Okay, so I want to... There's 2 ways you can handle this room, alright? We're going to pause the video. You can either kill the eyes first, or you can kill this mini-boss first. Up until this try, I always killed the eyes first. It was always sketchy, because like 50% of the time I got to this room, I would die. Because I would kill one of the eyes, I'd be at low health, and then he would cast on me and kill me. Or I'd get stuck on a chair, or stuck on a bookshelf, and I couldn't move, and then his eyes were killing me, while these eyes are pulsing out. I got sick of dying, so this time I tried something new. I decided I'd just... Fuck it, I'm gonna kill this guy first, see how that goes. I highly recommend killing this guy first. It works so much better, just stay away from the eyes, pop Avenging Crusader, burn this dude down. It's just so much easier to kill this guy first. I watched Growl's video where he says to kill the eyes first. I mean, you can, honestly, but I just found it so much easier to just deal with this room if you just kill this mini-boss first. There is room to move around. Alright, not a lot of room, but there is room. And you can Hodge him like I just did there, which gets him to shut up for a little bit. So after you kill him, you can just... You're chilling, dude. Nice, relax. Just slowly kill these eyes off. You got plenty of room to move around. You can go back out in the stairway if you need to. No big deal. Look how much less hectic this is. Yeah, I highly recommend you just kill the mini boss first. This is just so much easier. All right. So, I'm going to pause the video. Unfortunately, because I took so much damage in the hallway with those orbs, I had to lay in hands, so I still have... It's on 6-minute cooldown. Unfortunately, the little player thing's in the way, so you can't really see. So I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I know my lay in hands will be up by the last phase. So, like, at this point, the timer's done. You can just chill here. You can get your food buff. You can... wait for your cooldowns to come back up, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
1 eternity later.
All right. So we got 5 minutes left on laying hands. It should be up by the time I need it, depending on how this fight goes. Honestly, I probably should have waited a little longer, but it ended up working out, so no big deal. I still have Avenging Crusader. I would recommend that you tome and then you take the Awakening talent instead, just because you'll get more wings, which is going to help you out a lot more than Avenging Crusader. Because with Avenging Crusader, I'm not even able to DPS that much in this phase anyways, because I got to keep healing. So I didn't get a lot of value out of it, except for on pull. Okay, so for this phase is relatively easy. You just kind of keep your beacons up on Callie, Carrington, and Commander's Rod. You can kind of spot heal them. For this phase, the way I do it, you can use as much mana as you want here because we're going to have time to eat before the boss. So, contrary to what other guides say about using mana conserving abilities, you can just cast away here. It doesn't even matter. So this ad over here, the one on the right side of the screen, I learned he kind of gets close first. So I always prioritize healing him down first. And then the guy at the top left. All right. You heal the guy at the top left. Now, this is where my strategy changes from other people. I'm going to pause the video here. This last ad, it's an archer. It's really easy to kill. I let this ad come in. Because I've learned if you let one ad in, you have time to eat. Between, like, the boss pulling. Now, if you heal all of them, you do have time to eat, but you really don't have a lot of time. Like with the RP, the time for the RP it takes when this archer gets in, you'll have like plenty of time to get to full mana. And it's an archer, so they're very easy to kill. You hardly have to heal any. I don't even think you lose mana killing it. So I always let one archer get in. Just one. Any more than that, and you're gonna have a bad time. So at this phase, we want to you can flashlight them, you can holy shock or to glory. I'm just flashlighting. Doesn't really matter to me because I'm about to get all my mana back anyways. For like one thing I noticed is like at first Callie Carrington and Commander Gerard would be fighting each other, but then Commander Gerard switches to Granny Marl. So I take my beacon off Carly Carrington and put it on Granny Marl. Just because she starts taking a lot of damage. I just noticed it helps more to beacon her. And this is the last phase of ads. You just flashlight them. That on the left is closer than that on the right. Should probably prioritize that. There you go. So here you heal everyone up to full. It's fine. You don't need mana. Just heal everyone up to full. You're going to have plenty of time to eat. As soon as they start talking, you get your food buff. Also want to note, when you go into this next phase, put your beacon back on Callie Carrington. Granny Marl does not take a whole lot of damage in this next phase. Callie Carrington and Commander Gerard, they just stand and fire. They take a lot of damage. So the Arbalist is out. We let one archer get in. We're at full mana. So we just kill this ad. And we start mentally preparing for what's about to come. Now, this is the hard phase. All right. This is where things get hard. All right. So some tips and tricks. I learned one, Hammer Justice works on this boss. I made this obnoxious weak aura, and I put it right in the center of my screen. So I will hammer a justice this dude on cooldown. That way I have plenty of time to top everyone up and Light of the Martyr my own health down. Just yeah, you want to hammer a justice this dude on cooldown. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my macro for Lust and Unbridled Fury. I'm gonna pop Avenging Crusader. You know, it should have been the other one, but it's no big deal. I'm going to pop Avenging Crusader, and I'm going to pop my trinket right away. And you want to immediately bait him into, like, the edge of the room. Now, this space management's huge on this fight, so you definitely want to make sure he's, like, in the edge of the room. If he's in the center of the room when he does his green thing, you're screwed. So as you can see, I pop my... here, I'll even go back so you can see it a little bit better. All right. So he makes a beeline for me. I pop Lust, Unbridled Fury, Avenging Crusader, and now I'm just like throwing as much damage into this dude as possible. I use my trinket. I'm not hammer wrathing as much as I should be, but right here I'm just trying to Light of the Martyr my own health down. If you don't know how this mechanic works, he puts a dot on you. And when that dot expires, your party members take damage based on how much health you have, right? So the less health you have, the less damage they take. So you want to keep yourself like around 30% health. You do not want to be above 50% health. They take a shit ton of damage, and you don't want to be under 10% health because if he leaps on you, you'll die probably. So, and I also kind of advise you to have either Holy Shock or Word of Glory ready for like right after he does his leap. That way you can, you know, get yourself some health back because you do risk dying to the dot and the flame, and you don't want to do that. All right. Also, I'm going to pause here. Make sure you stand right on the edge of this green shit because you're going to lose room. If you're over here in the right or down by the corner, you're going to lose room. You want to be right on the edge of the green shit, and you want to keep these guys topped up. You keep yourself around 30% health. I'm using Light's Hammer. I had a Word of Glory there. I got the dot. I'm trying to keep myself low. Not too low, but just low enough. Ideally, you want a Consecration right before you move, because he's going to leap to you, which means he's standing in that Consecration you just put down. So throw down a Consecration. He's just chilling in it. You're putting extra damage in the boss passively while you heal everyone up. It's smart. I had a Word of Glory there for after he did his leap. I got Hammer of Justice coming up in 1 second. So if we're smart here, which we are, we Hammer of Justice there. And what happens? I Hammer of Justice him. It gives me plenty of time to get everyone else up. Hammer of Justice on cooldown on this fight. Hammer of Justice is your friend. I got my trinket back up yet, but I haven't used it. There we go. So as you can see, the trinket's doing a shit ton of damage to him. Even on the edge of the green circle, it's still reaching him. Unfortunately, I am way higher health than I should be right now. I'm just going to have to like flash the light everyone, preferably Light of the Martyr. Yeah, Light of the Martyr, Light of the Martyr, Light of the Martyr. I had a Holy Shock waiting to heal me up there. That's good. Commander's Rod gets low. We had our laying hands back. I knew it would be up by the time we needed it. Yeah. I sacked him just because I'm starting to panic here. It's at 30% health. We got plenty of room, dude. Avenging Crusaders coming up again. I got a Holy Shock ready for myself. I bubbled there just because I was panicking. There we go. Keep everyone at full health. Oh boy, I shouldn't have healed. I healed myself way too much there. You need to Light of the Martyr these people down. Yeah, Commander's Rod. This was really bad. If I didn't have a Word of Glory there, I probably would have failed. Hodge came off cooldown. Use Hodge again. So here I'm realizing I'm about to die. So I'm just going to throw as much damage in as possible. I'm going to trinket here. Hopefully. Yep, I trinket and I die. I just make sure everyone's topped off before I die. But yeah, it was sloppy. It was hectic. It was stressful, but we got it. You don't have to be alive to claim the achievement. As long as they survive, you're good. So that was it. I probably could have used Bop. I could have used my mini cooldowns better. And I don't even think I used Aura Mastery there, so could have done better, but that's how I beat it. But yeah, anyways, hopefully some of what I went over is useful for you guys. Hoping you got something out of it. Let me know in the comments if this guide was helpful to you, if you actually managed to beat the challenge with my advice. That would be really cool. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below, or you can visit me at my Twitch channel, which is also linked in the description. Appreciate you guys watching. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. And yeah, good luck with the rest of the Mage Towers. Have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next guide video. Peace out, y'all.